Hey there, everybody. My name is Ryan Schul. Welcome to my data science channel. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you haven't been here, then welcome for the first time. Okay. So what is this about? It's all about data science, machine learning, deep learning, and topics related to these. Now, today I want to show you how to use OpenAI to fetch data from a bunch of PDF files. We're going to combine everything into one comprehensive body of text or corpus of text. And then we're going to ask the model some questions. We're going to ask the model to make some summary comments about the model, and then we're going to ask some specific questions pertaining to the contents of this text file that we created. Okay, so the benefit is pretty obvious. If you have a bunch of PDFs and they're pretty substantial in size, here's my PDFs right here. This is the biggest one. Let me see what this looks like. Yeah, it's kind of a lot. Kind of a lot right there. And does it give me the page number? 57. I think we're up to 57, 58 pages. Okay, so this is going to be pretty big. This is the biggest one. The others are a little bit smaller. But let's say there's maybe, if that's the, maybe that has half of the text. I'm just guessing here. Maybe based on the size of the file, maybe the other two have like about 25 pages each. We could say that the total number of pages is maybe around 120, 125, something like that. So if you don't want to read through 125 pages of PDF files and just want quick summarization, this tool is perfect for that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit Control Enter to run the process. Okay, and down here it's going to ask me for an input as a path, a network path, or some type of UNC. It's also called UNC that gets me to where all these files are. So if I go over here, I can just copy and paste it. I'm a little bit lazy. I don't want to type it out. Okay. So there's my network path. And I want to save this file with a file name. This can be named anything. I'm going to put the network path again so it knows where to go. And I'll do body of text, text, right? Because this is a text file. Because I misspelled body. Nice. All we really care about is the text. I don't care about all the formatting, all the stuff that's coming from the PDFs. It looks nice. It's very appealing. It has a lot of nice charts and graphs, but I just want to go ahead and extract all the text from that and then summarize it and do some basic analysis on the text. Okay, so that's what these user-defined functions are for, to help me with the input files, to help me with one single output file. Again, we're going through 4 PDFs, extracting the text from every single one, concatenating everything together, and then saving the file. Now, whether or not you save the file is really up to you. If you work with the file over and over, especially if you have a slow network, you might want to save it so you don't have to do this process over and over. If the objective is to just do the analysis once, you don't have to save it down. I'm thinking I might have to go back and use this file again, so I'm going to save it just so I don't have to run through this process again. Okay, so everything is done over here, body of text. And we can see that this is fairly substantial in size. If I paste that into a Word document, we can get some basic stats about all the text over here. So let me try to do that. Control Enter to paste, Control V to paste. And then we have word counts down here. So I have 118 pages. Okay, I think I said 120 to 125. It's 118, so pretty close. 19,000 words and 103,000 characters with no spaces, and then it gives me spaces too. I don't really care about that, but that's good to know. Okay, so the file is pretty large, almost 120 pages, and now that everything has been concatenated or combined into one single text file, I can go ahead and read this text file into a model and have the model trained and tested on that text file, and then I can ask it questions, right? So this is pretty powerful stuff. So that's what OpenAI is for. And this is not free. I set up an account a few days ago. It cost me about 19 cents to do this analysis. Okay, so you start with $10 and you have, I think after that, you can add $5 to $100 increments for more tokens. Every time you send a token back and forth to this OpenAPI tool, it's going to charge you a little bit, but it's pretty minimal. I mean, it's very, very minimal for what you get, right? So there's quite a bit of bang for the buck. So you just have to go to this API, openapi.com, and set this up for yourself. And when you do that, you'll get an API key. Okay, you pop in your API key right there. So if I go over here, I have billing. You have a couple little controls on the side, API keys. Here's my API keys. These are all blocked out, right? And I chopped mine off of here, right? Because I can't share that with you guys. This is personal and confidential, so I can't actually run this next part. So you can see right here, it scanned through the 4 PDFs, and then it created the body of text. I just showed you that, right? So that goes into the same folder. So for this next part, I'm just going to show you what I did a couple of days ago. I set this up and trained and tested the model, and it worked totally fine. To get this to work, again, you will have to get your own API. It's not free, but it is very, very, very cheap. For what you get, you really getting quite a lot here, quite a lot of value add. So plug in your API key when you get that set up, and then you would change this path that goes to your corpus of text. Okay, so that is going to, wait a minute, I think I actually renamed it, but it doesn't matter because I'm not even going to run this thing at this point. Trust me, it works. It works totally fine. If you have some questions, you can post those in the comment section, and I can try to help people. The only thing you really have to be aware of, and I tested the code pretty extensively, so everything is fine. The input file, and again, that's dynamic. I made that dynamic so that can go anywhere. You can see where it's going here. Okay, it's going to this folder on my desktop. You would have to change your API key, and you would have to change the text file that contains the whole summary of all the text, not the summary, I'm sorry, the whole corpus of text from those 4 PDF files, right? So you would have to update that, but that's the only thing you have to do. Once that is all done, hit Control-Enter to run the contents of the cell, right? And it's going to spit out a little message over here. So summarizing chunk 1 of 7, 2 of 7, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And they break these into chunks because the computer is a little bit like a human. You can't just dump in every single thing and hope for the best, right? That would be, I don't even know what that would be. Maybe magic or something. It doesn't work like that, right? You have to read in one chunk and then another and then another and another. And a person is the same way. We speak in sentences or maybe in paragraphs, right? But they're chunks. They're all chunks of data. It's not like just blasting a fire hose volume of data at a model or at a person is going to be effective. It's not, right? You have to take just a brief moment to interpret chunk number 1, chunk number 2, number 3, number 4, and so on and so forth. So computers and humans are similar in that respect, right? The learning isn't infinite, but it is pretty impressive though, right? So here's the summary. I just put, can you summarize the text into 3 sentences? The text summarizes the risk of and conditions of the banking industry in 2023, highlighting economic, so on and so forth, agricultural sector, small business conditions, and finishes with an asset quality of community banks in energy producing states in 2023. And if you want to ask it another summary question, you can ask another one. If you want to type exit or quit, that will end the program. Okay, so it ends gracefully. You don't want crashes and weird error message coming up, right? So you type an enter to exit or quit, and it will quit the program. Okay, so that's pretty cool. The only limitation though is that you have to have the word summarize to get a response from this model. So when you type in please summarize this text or summarize this whatever, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Just summarize the text for me. That will trigger the model to run, but you can't ask it specific questions about the body of text. All this does is a basic summarization. So I leveled up for this next one and made it a little bit more dynamic and a little bit more interactive. So you can ask questions in a very like question response interactive type of environment, right? So this is a little bit more dynamic than the first example where you can only summarize the text. This you can say, summarize the text for me, or ask it specific questions about the body of text, right? So it's a little bit more evolved than the first script, which was still pretty impressive. It's taking 118 pages of text and summarizing it for you. So that's still very impressive. But if you want to make it just a notch better, you can refactor the code to make it more interactive again, so you can ask it different questions. So in this example, all you have to do is pass in your API key. This is the type of model that we're using. If you want to learn more about this, you can look at this too. And there's all kinds of models out there these days. Let me see. I'll just Google this thing quick. Model sentence transformer. Of course, this comes from Hugging Face, and you get over here on their website, and they'll have all kinds of examples of different models that you can use, right? And sentence transformers, that's what we're looking at here. And here's all the different models, right? So 13,625 models as of April 3, 2025. So 13,000, you got to be able to find something here that's going to fit your needs and help you do whatever it is you're trying to do. So I have a sentence transformer. I think that was very appropriate in this case. If that doesn't work well for you, then you have 13,000 plus other models that you can pick and choose from and play around with. And again, this is not free, right? There is a small charge for this, but there's my bill, 19 cents. That's what I paid to put together this video. But again, like if you need to do this, it is absolutely worth it in terms of time savings. And most likely, if you're doing this in a professional environment, your boss or your manager or something is probably going to pick up the bill, right? Or the company will pay for this thing. So that's not really a huge concern, I think. So again, generate your API key, pop that in there. And we're going to go ahead and run the analysis again on that same corpus of text. So you would have to change the path to the text. And you can make this dynamic. I think once the 4 files are read in, you read in those 4, you get one text file from that. I don't think this part has to be dynamic. If you want to do that, you can do that. It's really up to you. These things are pretty flexible in so many different ways. So now with this model, again, it's a little bit more evolved than the first one where we could only summarize text. That's the only thing that is going to do. You can actually summarize text with this or ask this specific questions about the contents of that text file. So here's my first question. Can you summarize this text into 4 sentences? And again, it reads in all the chunks. The text provides an extensive analysis of economic financial conditions in 2023. Key risks include market and credit risk. So I can already see there's a small mistake here. This isn't just 4 sentences. There's, I think I'm looking at 1. Oh, these are 2 right here. My eyes are not great these days. It's getting older and getting myopic. So there's sentence 3, there's sentence 4. I think it gave me probably 8 sentences, maybe 7, maybe 8. Or 9 sentences, okay? So it gave me a total of 9. I asked for 4, so it's off a little bit. But that's okay. I asked a second question. Can you summarize this into 4 sentences? And again, it gave me a summary over here. And then the response was, what? 2023, it's talking about economic growth, inflation and monetary policy, labor markets, financial markets, banking sectors, key risks, and in summary, there's market volatility, there's resilience in the banking sector, and the rebound in financial markets towards the end of the year highlights this adaptive nature of the economy amid persistent external pressures. So I think it kind of struggled a little bit with this direction. 4 sentences, it just didn't get that. The first time it gave me 9. But you know what? Still, overall, it's very impressive what you can do with this. And who cares if you get 4 sentences or 5? It probably doesn't matter too much. If you have a nice summary, you pay 19 cents for that. I mean, it's still a huge value add. It's still very, very, very cool what some of these models are available to do these days, right? And I think it's only going to get better and better. So the obvious takeaway here is faster, better decision-making, time and cost savings, synthesizing data, improved knowledge and retention, personalized question answering interactivities, right? Efficient research workflows, complex report generation, multilingual understanding, and compliance and audit support. So if you work in a highly regulated industry like banking is, then there's going to be compliance requirements around that, around basically everything that you do. So if you need this for compliance purposes, you can add in a couple statements to your question over here. Give me a summary and make this compliance worthy or whatever the term is. I'm not sure. Okay, so the PDFs came from this website. You can take a look at those. If you want to combine any PDFs, clearly this does not work just on these, right? You can dump in anything you want. It can be a Word document or a PDF. Or a bunch of text files. In this case, I'm just looking at PDFs. That's it. You can do Word or PDF. Anything that has any kind of text embedded in it, you can analyze that. And then again, you have to get your API key. You can get it from this URL right here. And then you would simply update your comprehensive body of text that you created and put in your API key right here. And that is literally it. That's literally it, okay? You have a couple different ChatGPT models that you can play around with over here. If you want to experiment with the resiliency or maybe not resiliency, the capability of the model to make more and more impressive types of responses. There's several models that you can pick from. This is the cheapest one. That's why I'm picking this. That's probably why it kind of didn't really understand this direction down here. It said 4 sentences and it gave me 9. There are 2 others. I think there's Chat GPT Turbo. You have to go on the website and see what these things look like. There's a couple others. Oh wait, I got that. I didn't even copy the thing. I think there is a couple others. Oh yeah, here, right. Versus, let's try this, versus. Oh, that's not what I was looking for. Oh, maybe. Pricing. I just want to see the pricing here. Cost comparison. I'll call it. Okay, we're good. Yeah, so here's the different models. So we just copy and paste that in there. GPT 3.5 Turbo. That's what I have here. So that is the cheapest one. That's probably why it got screwed up a little tiny bit there. But only 0.002 cents dollars for 1,000 tokens. And again, the token is like the bits of data that go back and forth between your computer and the model. So to send 1 million tokens is only $4 here. It's a little bit more expensive, 1,200, and this is 1,200. But again, these responses are going to be much more accurate. So if accuracy or precision is a non-negotiable for you, then you probably have to go with the more expensive model. And you know, you get what you pay for. You pay a little bit more, you get a little bit more, pay a little bit less over here, you get a little bit less. I think that's why it kind of didn't give me exactly what I was asking for down here, right? Because I went the cheap model. But you know what? I'm just a cheap guy, and that's it. So that's how you build the tool to analyze a bunch of text files or PDF files, convert that into text, and feed it into a trained and tested model and interact with it. So I will share all this code with you when I post a video later today. You can copy and paste it. Again, the only kind of updates you're going to have to make is this over here and this over here, and I can pretty much guarantee everything else will work. If you have questions, post those in the question section or comment section, whatever it's called. I think comment section on YouTube. And if you have questions or requests for additional videos that you want to see in the future, post those and I'll see if I can get around to it. I try to read all those comments and follow up with all those comments too, to the greatest extent possible. So that's it. I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. Thanks for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.